Okay, guys. Good morning to one and all. So last class we were discuss about shoe brake, single shoe brake. So this is the diagram, pneumatic diagram of single shoe brake. So I have been explained to you also how the single brake is working over here. So how to consider angles, how the contact between the drum and the shoe. So how to calculate forces, how to resolve that forces also I take you that. So once again I'll explain you this. These are the some parameters over here. So you can see that parameters, these are the most important parameters which are arising on the diagram. So P is a force, applied force, R in normal reaction, R is nothing but radius of drum. Then 2 theta is nothing but contact surfaces between the drum and shoe. Mu is the coefficient of friction. Ft is the frictional torque. This is what about what you call that parameters. Next to come to this. So how to calculate these frictional forces also I done. So after resolving of that frictional forces, Ft is equal, we know that frictional torque, friction is equal to mu into Rn. So braking torque is equal to Ft into R. So mu Rn into R. This is a general formula. After that, once we are taking moment about moment about fulcrum or moment about then we are summing of forces, vertical forces and horizontal forces. Then we have got, this is the formula. This one is the final formula. So I ask you to that remember this formula. This is for clockwise and anti-clockwise. So just opposite of that anti-clockwise. So that this formula have been generated from this after taking moment about fulcrum only. This formula have been generated. So torque, braking torque is equal to mu into P into L into R, mu into P into L into R by X, mu PL by R into by X. Next, so we have three cases. Already I took you the three cases. So first case of that, so whenever the fulcrum is passing the tangential force, frictional tangential force is passing, frictional tangential force is passing through the fulcrum axis, fulcrum axis. So that is the one. So whenever the frictional force is passing through the fulcrum axis, that one case, and frictional force is passing above the fulcrum and below the fulcrum. So likewise we can take two axes. So two cases, total three cases we have. This is the second case. So during that second case, the frictional force Ft is passing below the fulcrum axis, below the fulcrum axis. So below the fulcrum axis in the clockwise direction, below the fulcrum axis in anti-clockwise direction. So two things we are taking here, clockwise and anti-clockwise, right? So first we'll take you that. First I'll take you that. So the frictional force is acting below the fulcrum at a distance. This is the a distance, right? From at a distance, so that the length of this would be increases. The length of the shoe would be increases at that time. So even though the length of the shoe is increasing, how the frictional torque would be over here? The torque, braking torque and frictional torque would be over here, that we are calculating now. A similar process previously how we taken that. So moment about O I'll take here. Whenever I taking that moment about O, so this P into L, P into L, because it is a bottom wise direction. This is the anti-clockwise direction. That means the downward direction. So I'll take you that first. Here a reaction, this is the upward direction because the reaction is taking upward direction. So Rn into x, moment about O. So I'll take that moment about O, Rn into x, and this is also some forward direction. This is also forward direction, and it is below to this, right? And below to this. So I'll take you that this is the plus forward direction. So Ft into frictional torque into what is the distance? Frictional torque into A. So this is different. Force into perpendicular distance. This is the perpendicular distance of that axis. Force into perpendicular distance, which is equal to, now come to that opposite forces, the reverse forces. This is the downward force, which is called as a reverse force, P into L. So this is what the formula have been derived here. Then after that we want to get that only Rn. We want to take that Rn normal reaction. Then normal, from this normal reaction would be, this is the formula. From this normal reaction, after doing of solving of this equation, this moment about A, moment about O, then we have a Rn is equal P into L by x plus mu A. So breaking torque is equal to mu into Rn into R. This is the general formula which we derived in the earlier, which we seen in the earlier. So Rn is going to substitute here. So from the to the total formula is, the total formula is mu p l r by x plus mu a. So previously for first case, so we have a formula mu p l r by x, but here extra thing is x plus mu a. X is there already, plus mu a is extra, so that you have to remember always, right? So the second case formula would be this one mu p l r by x plus mu a, x plus mu a. So this is forward direction, then opposite anti-clockwise direction, clockwise direction or forward direction, anti-clockwise direction or reverse direction. Just the sign is changing over here, the sign is minus. This plus is forward or clockwise, minus is anti-clockwise or reverse, right? So please note this second case. Second case, in the second case, just we are taking, this is the upward direction, forward direction, this is also forward direction. So these two cases are taking, and also that it is from like this only. This is the one case, right? This is the reverse. Then I'll take you the third case, which we have to consider over here. The third case is this one. The third case is above. So the fulcrum is the axis of frictional torque is above from the fulcrum. So see here, in that situation, the distance of shoe is decreasing. Previously, the distance of shoe was increasing. Now the distance of shoe, height of the shoe is decreasing. So when the height of the shoe is decreasing, the frictional torque also would be reduces there. So with respect to that, the formula is also generating here. So here also same thing, the same moment about O I am considering. So when I take that to some moment about O, moment about fulcrum O, then normal reaction into X, normal reaction into X, right? Normal reaction into X, force into perpendicular distance, which is equal to, but it is downward direction. It is downward direction. It is a down from this, from the central f of x. So I'm going to take as a minus this. Previously there was a up, so the distance was more, that is why I took that plus. Now I am going to take as a minus ft into force into perpendicular distance. So it is passing through downward direction. So this is the force and this is the distance. Previously this is the force and this is the distance, right? This is the axis of the distance, axis of the fulcrum. So that is why in that case I took that plus. So in this case I am taking that minus, right? Now ft into a, frictional force into a, plus f into l. So now this is the reverse direction I'm considering. This is one direction, opposite direction of this. So from this, after doing solving of this, then we have a Rn is equal, this is normal reaction, normal reaction, the normal reaction is PL by x minus mu A. PL by x minus mu A. Then the normal reaction for anti-clockwise direction, only sign is going to change, plus. Only sign is going to change, that is plus. So now braking torque is equal to, what is the braking torque? This is the general formula. So in that mu Rn, Rn is substituting over here. What are the we got Rn value? Mu PL by R by x minus mu A. X minus mu A. This is the general formula over here, right? Braking torque. So likewise, we have to take formulas here. So I'll take you that in the case one is a one formula clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction. Case two is a one formula and case three is a one formula. Three formulas you have to remember so that you can solve the problems. So in the during that problems, while considering of these problems or solving up this kind of problems, you must be understand what is the case, either it is a first case or second case or third case. So first to go through the case, then after that try to implement your formula and solve that problem. This is what you have to do during that problems, right? Next. So that is mu. This is anti-clockwise direction. So the formula would be plus. The formula would be plus. And one more I would like to tell you. So whatever the formula is for anti-clockwise direction. So case 3 and case 2. Very simple. I'll tell you that blind symbol. So whatever the case 3 formula anti-clockwise direction. Case 3 formula of anti-clockwise direction. So now case 2 and case 3. So under case 3 that anti-clockwise direction and clockwise direction. So case 2 clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction. These two formulas, whatever the formula for a clockwise direction, that would be anti-clockwise direction. See here. So case 3, this is the case 3, this is the anti-clockwise direction. The formula is anti-clockwise direction. The same formula come for clockwise direction in the case 2. And also that the anti-clockwise direction, the formula come for case 3 clockwise direction. Just opposite of this that you have to remember. Because the fulcrum axis, the frictional torque is above, the frictional torque is above case and the frictional torque is below case, right? Ft is one case is below the fulcrum, I mean the axis. So one case is above the axis. So based on this only the formula is generating this, right? That is the thing you have to follow over here. Next, to come to this self-energizing brakes. Self-energizing brakes are nothing but the frictional force helps to apply the brakes. Such type of brakes are said to be self-energizing brakes. When the frictional force is greater enough to apply the brakes with no external forces, then the kind of brakes are self-energizing brakes. See here, very important statement here. When the frictional force is greater enough to apply the brakes with no external forces. So there is no external forces. There is no external forces. There is no external forces which we are not applying over here. Means that the kind of frictional force, the suitable kind of frictional force is providing by the brakes without external force. Those kind of brakes are self-locking brakes. Self-locking brakes are nothing but without external forces, the brakes are working there itself. The brakes are working there itself. Those kind of brakes are called as a self-locking brakes, right? Sometimes it is a 2 marks. Define self-locking. Whenever the brakes are working without external force, the kind of brakes are self-locking brakes. That is the statement over here. Next, to come to that pivoted block or shoe block. So till now we seen we seen only single shoe brake, single shoe brake. Now pivoted block, single shoe brake we seen that. Now pivoted block, why we have to go for pivoted? So I'll take you that why we have to go for. So we know that whenever the angle of contact is less than 60, the rubber and braking drum is angle of contact is less than 60, the pressure is uniform, the braking pressure is uniform. That means that up braking pressure is uniform. So that only explained over statement you mentioned over here. We have discussed in the previous that when the angle of contact is less than 60, then it may be assumed that the normal pressure between the block and the normal pressure between the block and drum, block and wheel, single block and wheel is a uniform, is a uniform. But when the angle of contact is greater than the 60, greater than the 60, then the unit pressure normal to the surface of contact is less than, is less, contact is less at the end of, at the end than at centers. So what this statement is telling that whenever we have a like this, the contact surface is less at ends, up to some distance is less, and over this area is more. So whenever the ends are less and at center is more, it is not a uniform pressure. It is a varied uniform pressure. It is a varied uniform pressure. In such cases, we will not get the proper braking torque. We will not receive proper braking torque, and we cannot get the proper braking torque. So that is why whenever the greater than the 60 of angle of contact, so we have to go for one. Whenever the angle of contact is greater than the 60, then in that cases we have to provide a pivoted block or pivoted shoe brake, right? Less than the 60, we can go for single block or single brake, single shoe brake. Whenever it is greater than the 60, then pivoted block or pivoted shoe brake. So I'll show you through the diagram how the pivoted block is. In such cases, the block or shoe is pivoted to the lever, pivoted to the lever instead of being rigidly attached to the lever. So previously there was it is a fixed, and there was a one shoe, there was a shoe, the shoe was attached over here. So this gives the uniform wear block lining in the direction of applied forces, in the block of applied forces. I'll take you the diagram. I'll take you the diagram so that you can understand. So this is the pivoted block shoe. Just see that comparison of previous one and this one. Previous one, this is the fulcrum, this is the lever, force is applied at the end, normal reaction over here, but the fulcrum is different here. Previously there was the lever, so there was a shoe was like this, so the drum was like this, the drum was like this, so there is a fulcrum fulcrum axis. So fulcrum axis is there. Now see the difference. This shoe is directly mounted on the lever, mounted on the lever shear, mounted on the lever directly. So whenever the design would be like this, whenever the design is modified to like this, that means that pivoted block, so that pivoted block which is having a greater than 60, the angle of contact is greater than the 60, greater than the 60 degrees, so that we were trying to give that uniform pressure between the wheel and shoe, between the wheel and shoe, between wheel and shoe. So in order to create in order to provide the uniform pressure between these two components, then we are using pivoted block or shoe brake. I hope you have understand this, the main difference of single shoe brake and pivoted shoe brake. So single shoe brake, it is a less than 60 degrees of angle of contact between the wheel and shoe. So this one is greater than the 60 between the shoe and brake, between the shoe and drum, between the shoe and the drum. So remaining principle are same. So in such cases, we are following a equivalent coefficient of friction. Previously, we have used only mu, which is called as a coefficient of friction, because it is a uniform pressure. So need not to go for equivalent coefficient of friction. But here we are taking equivalent coefficient of friction. Means that, so whatever we are taking that coefficient of friction, which is approximately equal to frictional force, which is approximately equal to frictional force or coefficient of friction, right? Coefficient of friction. So we are assuming that it is a coefficient of friction is equivalent. Previously we are not assuming, it is a design factor, it is 100% sure that is the coefficient of friction which is equal to frictional force, right? So that is why the equivalent coefficient of friction, this is the one, the extra formula here. So this formula was derived. So to derive this formula, we have to go for lengthy derivation. So that is why directly I kept here coefficient of friction, equivalent coefficient of friction. We have to use 4 mu sine theta by 2 theta plus 2 sine 2 theta. The formula must be used whenever in the problem he has mentioned that it is a greater than 60. The angle of contact shoe and wheel is greater than the 60. So that is why I am telling you that carefully you study the problem. Carefully you study the problem whether it is less than 60 or greater than 60 of particular angle. If less than the 60, then you use that mu directly, which is provided from the problem. If at all it is a greater than 60, you have to derive the formula. You have to get the mu value by taking of this, by considering of this, right? So by utilizing of this formula, you have to get the mu coefficient of friction. So that is the thing. So come to this. So why it is try to get a uniform pressure? So whenever the applying force over here, so the lever would like to get this position, the lever would like to get. So it is a bending moment, some bending moment would be taken place here. So whenever it is the lever is try to getting that curve shape, the kind of curve shape will come and act against the wheel drum, so that it would be maximum a uniform pressure over here. So it would be maximum uniform pressure. In that case only we are taking that equivalent coefficient of friction here. So that formula we are using here. Got it? Understand this? So this is the difference between of previous concept and this concept. Pivoted block, second concept, and single shoe brake is a first concept, right? So the extra thing is you have to remember this formula, equivalent coefficient of friction here. Okay. So this is what two concepts were studied till now. One is single block or single shoe brake, pivoted shoe brake. Next to come to this, a simple problem here. A simple problem. So the problem is this. So I'll study this problem and I'll explain you this problem also. So a single block brake is shown in the figure. Single block brake as shown in the figure. The diameter of the drum 250. This is the diameter of the drum is given that 250. So the of course that has been modified into radius, and the angle of contact is 90. See that statement, the angle of contact is 90, not 60, less than the 60. It is a 90, greater than the 60. If the operating force is 700 newtons is applied at end of the lever, this is the force P which applied at 700 newtons, and the coefficient of friction between the drum and lining is 0.35. Mu is given. Mu is given even though mu has given even though it is greater than the 90, greater than the 60, right? So now it is we have to consider that equivalent friction. We have to calculate equivalent friction. So that is what you have to do. If at all the contact is less than the 60 or 50 as given, then directly you can use this mu. You can use this mu in the problem. But it is greater than the 60, 90 degrees is given. So equivalent mu you have to calculate. Determine the torque and may be transmitted by the block brake, right? Determine the torque, braking torque. TB is a determined value. So that is what the given data has given. Diameter is given, diameter of the wheel is given, 2 theta is 90 and P is given 700, mu is equal to. Since the angle of contact is greater than the 60, therefore the equivalent coefficient of friction has to calculate. The equivalent coefficient of friction has to calculate. So I'll take you that how the equivalent coefficient of friction has to calculate. So the formula is 4 mu sine theta by 2 theta plus 2 sine theta. This is the formula for to determine equivalent torque, equivalent coefficient of friction. So now equivalent coefficient of friction is 0.385. So of course there is no difference of this. So sometimes you can take directly mu is equal to 0.3 or 0.4, because you come to this 0.385, which is also you can write, which is also you can write, which is also you can write mu is equal to 0.4, 0.4, because maximum it is a less than 0.5. Always we consider that mu is equal to less than 0.5 or 0.5. So some most of the cases the general is mu is less than 1, always less than 1. Coefficient of friction is less than 1, that we know that, but we will take on average for each material 0.5, 0.3, 0.4. But here we have got, after determining of equivalent, 0.385, which is also you can write 0.4. And that is why I'm telling that directly you can take, but for namesake you have to calculate here. For namesake you have to calculate here. So once you know the coefficient of friction, then remaining same. So however we calculated in the first case, right? In the first case, this is the drum, this is the drum, and the fulcrum is acting, the fulcrum axis is acting below the force of axis, below the force of axis, below the force of axis. That is why A is equal to 50. The distance A is equal to 50 meters, and this is the X distance, and L is equal to what? Total L is equal to 250. Sorry then. So now L is equal to, L is equal to what? Total 200 plus 250, 450 L. L. So X is equal to how much? 200. So by that we can solve this force into P into L. This is the P moment about O I taken, moment about O I took. So P into L plus, because it is a below of this force, so that you can also take that this force, right? Ft into 50, which is equal to Rn into 200. So after solving of this, we'll have a frictional torque. That frictional torque is substituted in the braking torque, so that the braking torque will be taken. So braking torque you can take, this is also one formula, braking torque. So TB is equal to mu into Rn into R. So mu Rn is nothing but Ft, which is frictional torque. Ft into R. Ft into R. So Ft already derived. This is the Ft. Then the value is 83.75 Newton meter. 83.575 Newton meter. That is what. Or else you can take directly a formula, because it is case 2. It is a case 2, right? Case 2 formula, whatever we have, because the force is forward direction. The force is forward direction. So for that we have a formula, T right? Case 2 formula, we have a what you call it, a frictional torque formula. That formula you can use mu p l r by x x plus mu l. This is the formula. You can use this formula and you can find out f of t, or else you can take, because by doing of this only we have got this formula. So you can use this formula directly and you can find ft. That ft you can substitute in the braking torque. So finally you can get of this. So that is what the problem is here. Next, to come to that second problem, this problem is also same. See, I'll study this problem. So your applied force is drum by the lever of AB, pivoted at a fixed point A. So this is pivoted at a fixed point A. See here, this is the pivoted at fixed point A. But instead of this giving vertically straight, the lever has given in the manner of curve. That's all. Nothing a difference compared to previous one and this one. Then the radius of the drum is 160. The coefficient of friction is 0.3. The drum rotates in the clockwise direction. Find the braking torque due to horizontal forces. Due to horizontal forces of 60 newtons. So find the braking torque. Force as given. Force also a P also given, right? P also given, and the distances also given. X is given, L is given, radius is also given. Everything is given. Radius is also given. But thing is, the angle of the theta is not mentioned here. So since the angle is subtended by the shoe at the center of radius is 40 degrees. So in the diagram, because is shown in figure అన్నాడు కాబట్టి figure లో ఇచ్చాడు అనమాట 20 20 40 2 theta is equal to how much 40 degrees. So it is a less than 60. The value is less than 60, so that you can use that formula. You can use the same formula, right? So by taking of that you can find out a similar force into distance, moment about one point, you take force into distance, this force into distance, this force into distance. So once you know the all distances, then you can find the braking torque. That's all. Thing is, you have to remember this momentum forces, moment about O or moment about particular point, then you can solve the problem, right? So this is about single shoe brake and pivoted shoe brake, So next class I'll take you that double shoe brake. So why the double shoe brake is using, or double block or double shoe brake is using. So next class I'll take you that. Okay guys, I'm running out of time also. So today total the strength was 18. The strength about 18 students here. Okay.
Exam lo drawing isara sir.
Okay, one day by step by step I'll complete the syllabus. So almost 80% is of first unit is covered. So 20% is there. I'll try to complete in the next week this unit, and I'll start in second unit. It is a somewhat complicated subject and somewhat different subject. So that is why I'm taking you slowly. Thing is, you have to understand the concept of this, right? So I request you that to take out all formulas at one place and try to remembering of those formulas. Try to read daily, read day by day, so that you can remember easily this, right? Okay, guys, have a nice day. I'll continue in the next class about double shoe brake or double block brake. Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Bye.
సార్